Hey there, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use a magic tool in Unreal Editor to automatically optimize a super high-res mesh like this one I got from Triple 3D that has 2 million triangles into something that you can basically use in a game. This is based on a tool in Unreal that's been there for about 4 years that almost no one knows about, and so I figured I'd make this video to show you how it works. Okay, so first thing you should do if you bring in an asset like this, so I brought in a GLB, is if you want to do some of this processing, disable nanite. You can just re-enable it later, but if you have nanite on, you're not going to see the real triangles and you're going to see the mesh be simplified and stuff like that. And so we want to work with the real mesh here. Okay, so the tool you want to use is in modeling mode under this MISC tab. These are sort of one-off random tools. And the tool to use is this one called AutoLOD. And if you just click AutoLOD, it's going to say initializing AutoLOD generator. And that's going to take a couple seconds. As this box appears, that means it's processing. And pretty quickly, we're going to get a result. If we switch to wireframe, you see it's a very low triangle count right now. What it's done is it's made this new mesh, it's generated UVs, it's baked all the textures, it's even generated collision. So I could just click accept here, and that mesh, a new mesh would appear down here in this content browser, and you could use this mesh in your game. So that's the whole process. Everything is automated. Now what there is a bunch of settings. So what I'm going to do is go through the settings. So I'm just going to cancel this first, and I'm going to just mention one other thing. It's a good idea when you bring in these meshes to go into mesh here and do a weld. The meshes that these AI generators export tend to be separated along seams. So those cracks mean it's actually like little mesh patches, and it's a problem if you want to do some kinds of processing like simplification. So you see here the weld tool, there was 83,000 crack edges, and now there's only 3. 3's fine. We can just accept this. Because it's a 2 million triangle mesh, it's got to update it. So that takes a bit of time. It's got to rebuild the static mesh every time you change it. It's one of the downsides of working with these super high res assets. But that's okay because we're going to get rid of that high res asset. So let's go back to MISC, back to AutoLOD, run it again. So again, it's going to take a bit of time here. So now what this tool does by default, it doesn't simplify this mesh. What it does is it basically voxelizes it, and it kind of does some other stuff to fill in little holes, and then it simplifies that mesh. So first thing we're going to do, we won't worry about that part yet, is we're going to change how much it simplifies. So there's different options here. You can do triangle count, vertex count, percentage, but the one that kind of works the best for this says geometric tolerance. So what this uses is a kind of distance threshold. So it is in centimeters, so maybe, I'm not sure the scale of this mesh. Anyway, let's just turn this down. If we turn it up, so we go to 2, it's going to get way more simplified, right? It's even fewer triangles. You know, maybe it still looks okay. We go the other way. We say we set it to what was it before? 0.5? Yeah, so let's try 0.1. Okay, so now that's a decent looking sort of mesh. If I look at it, it's actually pretty close. The actual deviations now are probably not coming from the simplification. They're coming from that mesh generation. So I mentioned before, it does voxelization and then does something else. The other thing is called closure. And what that does is it fills in little holes. So you see here on the sides, the original one has this chain thing. And on this one, that chain thing has kind of gotten welded shut. So whether or not you want that kind of depends on how you're going to use that asset. But if we want to get rid of it, we can change this closure distance. So we just set that to 1. So this is the slowest. These recomputation steps are in order. So if you change one down here, it only does from there on. They're all cached, but otherwise it's going to do it the long way. So now we set that lower, it separated out the chain. It's still baked. The texture baking still got some of that chain on on the mesh, we can fix that too. So maybe we'll leave it at this just to go forward. So now you see the parts got a bit crisper. It's probably just got some more triangles now because the tolerances are higher, but I think this is fine. We can leave that. You can also turn solidification off or closure off entirely and just do solidify, or you can just do remesh. That's clean and simplified. It'll just remesh the original asset. But it'll discard all the UVs because it's going to auto UV separately. So the next step in the process is actually UV generation, but for some reason that's below texture baking now. I feel like it used to be above. So here it looks like we probably got enough UV patches. It uses this very fast algorithm that works even if it's a million triangles. Patch Builder will generate UVs really quick. If you feel like some area looks messed up, you can just increase this number of patches. So you set it to 200. This doesn't really affect the speed very much. You could set it to 2000. See, it recomputed. We didn't even notice that it recomputed. The bake resolution here, so I can set that to 512. It's going to rebake lower. The baking is very fast. We go super low. You know, that's ridiculous. You know, maybe I want to go up to 2K. I think the original textures are 2K, so that we're just rebaking directly there. So that's as simple as changing that. The bake thickness controls the sort of offset for baking, so we can try making that 1. See if it fixes this. Yeah, there we go. So that if you see black areas appearing, you need to increase bake thickness. Otherwise, you can just turn it down if you see any projection artifacts. Okay. And then Patch Builder, UV method settings, you probably don't need to change. If you wanted to learn how that works, you go play with it in the UV tools. Now, the last thing is it does collision too. Only kind of basic collision, but here, so this is the collision box. I can change it to other shapes, minimal sphere. It's going to fit a sphere. Convex hull is going to fit a convex hull, and it's got to simplify settings. That's probably good for this. There's another one specifically for this kind of shape called a swept hull, which kind of finds the convex hull from one of the 3 axes and sweeps it, and then you can change this tolerance. So you set that to 1. It's going to have less faces. Maybe 2. Maybe we want to go to 5. Get it real low to optimize the collision. So that's one more option as alternative to convex hull, which gives you a bit more sort of flat edges, stuff like that. Okay, so we're basically done now. I'm going to click accept. It's going to make a new asset down here. And it's going to make new textures, and it's going to instance the incoming material. So the incoming material was already an instance, but if it wasn't, it would have just made an instance of it if it could. So there's our optimized version, lower triangle count. Let's see what it is. Still 14,000 triangles. Maybe it's too high. Maybe you want to go try again, get it lower, or you can always go into mesh tools and do a further simplification in the simplify tool. Sometimes that's a good way to kind of tweak it to get lower. It's very fast then in here to tweak that. So we just went down to 7,000 triangles. It didn't even, you turn off those options there. I'm not sure I could tell the difference. Oh, I guess you can. And then if you want to see, so we baked actually full PBR. So you can see metallic map, roughness map. They're very close because we were baking a full 7K base color. So that's a good way to kind of inspect the results. You can, inspect the normals. So it did actually bake a normal map from the difference between the high res and the low res. That's part of the tool. It does that automatically. So you can see here, that's the normal map it made from the high res. Okay, so that's how you use the AutoLOD tool. It's a great tool for processing scan meshes or AI generated meshes or lots of other meshes if you need like a low poly version of something, stuff like that. It works in a lot of cases. There's some limitations on materials. Things need to be parameters. Textures need to be parameters to be rebaked. That's basically the only constraint. Okay, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.